Hi, I'm Rafael Kaufman, and I'll be presenting an active inference model of collective intelligence. Each of us is, at the same time, an autonomous individual and a member of collectives, families, firms, sports teams, polities. These collectives can demonstrate intelligent behavior that cannot be explained by aggregation of individual intelligence. That is, a human collective is a complex adaptive system which is composed itself of highly autonomous complex adaptive systems. And to date, formal models of collective intelligence have either just focused on the collective scale, treating individuals as rule-following agents, or focused on the scale of autonomous individuals and their interactions with their social and physical environment. So we lack a plausible theoretical description of the functional relationship between these scales. And we believe the missing link lies in understanding what kinds of social cognitive features enable the formation of an effective collective. To investigate this question, we use a formalism called the active inference framework, first proposed by Coauthors. It's a recipe for modeling agents as self-realizing systems based on dynamical systems theory. And as the name implies, AIF lets you use the same equations to describe both action and inference, using a unifying concept called free energy minimization. It's a bit of a technical concept, but what matters is the agent can be in a physical system as long as its internal processes approximate gradient descent on the free energy. And we use AIF simultaneously at two scales. First, at the individual scale, we have pairs of AIF agents on the same physical environment, which is just a circle. They can't observe their own position. Their only clue about their environment is via an on-off sensor generated by a chemical signal on each cell. A is strong and B is weak. So strong agents are fairly perceptive, while weak agents are flying nearly blind. Both agents can move left or right or stand still and can observe each other's relative position and movement. And agents have independent reward functions, which are two-peaked, with one common peak, which is a shared target, and one private peak. At the global scale on the right, our system is composed of a number of these agent pairs. The collection of all of these pairs is, in effect, the internal states of the global scale system, which interacts with the global environment through sensory and active inputs of their own. The sensory inputs are relayed to each individual as desires, but the optimal state of the system corresponds to the agent's shared target only. However, the agents themselves don't know this, so there's no exogenous incentive to achieve the global goal. Okay, so individual agents are assumed to minimize free energy by some internal neurological process that approximates gradient descent. But at the global level, the gradient descent is achieved by the collective behavior of all of these individual agents. So to the extent that the collective can minimize collective free energy F sigma, it is performing active inference at the global scale. Great, so at the individual level, the first feature we'll consider is theory of mind, the ability for an agent to put itself in the shoes of another. We model this as a partner actualization loop, where the agent infers the partner's belief from its past action and it predicts its next action. In our case, this uses a form of triangulation. An agent uses its partner's relative position and actions to inform its belief about its own position. And the second feature is goal alignment, the ability for an agent to adapt its goals to match another's. Since the agents aren't incentivized top-down to achieve the global optimum, this bottom-up mechanism is the only way for them to discover and pursue that common goal. So we want to understand whether and how each of these two features drives the behavior of the system in isolation and also together. We'll compare them with a baseline where agents don't interact with each other at all. And we'll see how they influence the behavior of individual agents, but most of all, the behavior of the global system. In our baseline, we see that strong agents in blue are consistently able to reach high reward locations, while weak agents in orange struggle a lot more. We find that theory of mind by itself is not able to improve outcomes. Weak agents try to triangulate their own position from the strong agent's behavior, but often fail because of the ambiguity introduced by the private goal. And goal alignment by itself doesn't help either, because weak agents now have a single high reward target, but still can't consistently navigate there. However, putting the two capabilities together does result in a drastic improvement, especially for weak agents. Goal alignment means every agent has a single most likely goal. This reduces the ambiguity in the strong agent's behavior, and then the weak agent can use theory of mind to triangulate effectively. Now, on the global scale, Here we're seeing whether each of these models can minimize the collective free energy, F sigma. In the baseline in gray, we see that if agents don't have any social capabilities, the collective can't minimize F sigma more than about 50%. This is about half of the agents are weakly perceptive and can't consistently optimize. The other half are strong, but they're equally likely to reach the global goal or their private target. In red, we see that theory of mind on its own doesn't seem to be useful, as we discussed before. In yellow, we see that goal alignment helps only the strong agents, so F sigma reaches a plateau of about 25%. And finally, in green, we see that combining theory of mind and goal alignment solves both problems, and the system can now make F sigma go arbitrarily low given enough time. This is our approximation to gradient descent. So we can say that in model 4, the global system performs inference like an AIF agent. Now, this is an exploratory result, but it opens up exciting avenues for further investigation. Thank you.